Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3. Hello and welcome to City Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party Network. I am Darren Moser and am joined, as always, by my fellow Strandees, Philip and Daniel. Daniel, you're in the closer time zone, so I will let you go first. How has your Star Trek week been? Are you counting down the days to Prodigy like I am?
Do we know how many? Do we know? Do we know when it's coming out?
I think we do. I'm pretty sure it's
October 27th, or am I making that up?
I forgot the characters. I forgot the story.
So you need to start a rewatch. Yes, October 27th.
And that's just going to be a half of an episode that they're going to drop then, and then we'll get the next one in January? Is that how is that what's happening here?
Look, okay, I'm not the one who picked the hiatus-based season, but...
that'll be right around the time of the game, though. So that'll be a good reminder.
That's right. The game, I think, is supposed to come out on the 1st of October, but I'm not 100% sure.
I thought it was mid-October, but I could be wrong.
It might have slipped. Oh, actually, I see it twice in my calendar. So I see it on the 1st and the 14th. I'm guessing it's the 14th then.
Yeah, I think it was mid. So that's exciting. I'm very excited to play that. But but we're not there yet. I guess I'm looking forward to Prodigy, but of course, I think Paramount is real wonky with their schedules. So we have taken a pause, I should say, not a break, from Deep Space Nine. And
it was a break.
Just to catch up on, because I forgot that Lower Decks had come out. So we started watching those, and those are fun.
Lower Decks has been good. This has been a great, I mean, I'd say Lower Decks is the most consistent show. Like, yeah. It knows what it is. And it just brings the laughs every time. Not every episode is is the season finale of season 2, which is one of the best episodes, I think. But it's a lot of fun. What's the most recent one that's come out? I forget the plots.
I don't know. We're only halfway through episode 2, but
okay.
With the
has it been to the one where you go to like Earth and it's like Boimler's raisin farm?
No, that was the first episode.
No, that's number 2.
That's number 2. Okay, yeah. That was really funny. Just like he's wearing the same clothes that Captain Picard wears. It's like, and just all the girls are throwing themselves at him.
Oh yeah,
it's so silly.
It's really funny thoh,
and he gets really annoyed at them, which is just funny.
Yeah,
I don't know why it's funny, but it's just stupid.
It's funny. It's really well done. Well, because it's kind of subverting what you're expecting that he's going to act like Picard, but he acts like, oh man, this is like he's literally doing practically what Picard does, which you think he would be gushing over it, but because it's raisins versus wine,
all we do is dry them and dry them and dry them.
But it's funny. Oh, well, what about you, Philip? Have you been playing any games? Are you holding shift like you always should?
I have been actually playing it's not Star Trek based, so but you asked games. I have been playing Tomb Raider again, the reboot. Daniel playing it.
Okay,
it came out
the newer
2013,
one.
I think.
Yeah, so it's old. I'm hand quoting, but it's because in that trilogy that came out. But yeah,
32-bit now. Graphics are amazing.
Yeah, no, it's a great game. But anyway, as far as Star Trek stuff, I'm almost to the end of season 5 of Voyager. It was Someone to Watch Over Me. So Doctor's got a little crush on 7.
That's not the one where they swap bodies, is it?
No. This is the one where she's learning to date, and you have the teen movie situation of where the Doctor and Paris do a wager about 7 getting a date. Wait,
who did she try to date? I can't remember that episode.
She dates a random lieutenant.
Okay.
And ends up breaking his arm when she tries to spin him when they're dancing on the holodeck. Though it's actually Sandrines. We haven't seen Sandrines in like 3 seasons, but they choose that as the holodeck program to use.
Do you think they'll bring that character back in season 3 of Picard?
Maybe. And I'd also forgotten. I mean, I remembered it once I saw it, but I forgot Scott Thompson from Kids in the Hall guest stars in this episode. He plays like this is sort of the B story of where Neelix has to take him. Janeway's going to their planet, and he's sort of like the exchange, ambassador or whatever. But it's like a very religious, But he ends up going crazy and drinking and getting drunk, and all the Neelix has to like follow him and clean up after him. And so,
oh, that's right.
I have no
this
memory
is how
of
we
this.
actually act.
Yes.
And they try to get him sober
more
before
desserts.
he checks back in.
Yeah,
Kind of makes me think of that one TNG episode where they had the 3 ambassadors and they all acted differently. It's basically.
And even going further back in TOS, when they have the aliens that are invading, and Scotty ends up getting one of them drunk.
Oh yeah, I remember that part. Yeah,
yeah. I felt like a little DS9, so I watched. I can't remember the name of the episode, but it's the one where you have the renegade Jem'Hadar, and we. That's why I watched it. It's because last week we talked about the exploding pylon, and I had looking up the episode. So I watched that episode where so it wasn't the circle that or the Maquis that caused it. It was the hit and run raid of rogue Jem'Hadar, and you get the Iconians, and you get Worf. You get different levels of discipline where you have the one Jem'Hadar just kills his second by breaking his neck because he disobeyed him, and it's really funny though because it just goes like, Mr. Worf, you are confined to quarters for the rest of the mission. And it's like it seems so lacking. Like even I, who know the context and am a human, I'm like, man, that's like. You're really getting off with a slap on the wrist there, Mr. Worf. Like
it makes Cisco look really, really, really like weak.
It makes us look like we do not care at all.
Look, he is getting a note to his parents,
a permanent record
on the permanent
in your file.
Anyone can read that.
Okay. Well,
so that's where we're going to discover in Picard that Worf just got promoted to captain.
I just want to see the first of the Jem'Hadar first be like. Kind of waving his hands around like, ooh, permanent record. Like it's so funny because it's nothing. I'm like, granted, snapping the neck's a little much. There's probably a middle ground, but yeah,
probably. I don't know. Is there?
But that's a direct callback to the TNG episode I can never remember the name of. What was the name of the episode with the Iconians that Worf was there?
That was like season 2 or
Conundrum or something, I think. With the Romulans.
Multiple datas? Or no.
That was
This is the doorway. This is where the Romulans and I think it was the Romulans. And then there's the probe that gets launched up and Wrecker's like, destroy that probe because they don't have power for that one moment. And
it was season 2.
You sure it's not a 1?
Yeah.
I don't think it's season 1.
Iconia, TNG.
I'm guessing season 1 Conundrum. You tell me what it was. But anyway, that is not what we're going to talk about today here.
Contagion.
On 3. Contagion. I was so close. I get points for it's like
for the
you got a reprimand, Derek.
Second season.
Second season. Okay. Well, I got the C part right. So, that's right. Contagion because it was infecting
the
their systems.
USS Yamato explodes. Okay.
Oh, that was that episode, huh?
That's right. Just happened to look exactly like our ship. So easy. See what you did there, model builders. And everyone watching is like, oh, that would be really terrible if we had to watch our Enterprise explode.
Luckily things had sort of advanced since TOS days because it wasn't like the USS Yamato, NCC 1071D, or they turn like the D upside the other way, so it's like the O, or it's like no.
If we turn around and erase half of it, it's a C. It's just a really capital C. Yeah, no, that's true. They're like, we got 4 letters, guys. How do we make this work? But it's smart. It's not a bad idea. So this week I wanted us to talk about Playmates toys. I love Playmates toys. We're getting some new ones that are coming back out, which is really cool. And I have a few bolted on my wall because it's the only shelf / square footage I could put. So I have the Bridge playset, which is heavily played with, and the almost complete engineering playset. I think my transporter playset is somewhere, but that was, and Philip's pointing out all of his as well, because he and I lived the same childhood. But what I wanted us to
Daniel wasn't loved, so.
That's right. That's true.
You were probably a Star Wars person in your youth, weren't you?
You had the G.I. Joe, like
G.I. Joes.
Well, no, we talked about it earlier. My big thing in my youth was the Turtles. So I did have plenty of play sets from the Turtles. I had the Technodrome. I had the sewer sets.
Ooh.
Yeah, I had a lot. And then I'm moving into Power Rangers too. But
I just saw, I don't know if they're current.
Did you have the crossover Turtles that were Star Trek?
I did not. I did not have those. No. Yeah.
But yeah, I saw the I think it's new. I bet it could be 10 years old. But the turtle blimp. And I'm like,
I had a blimp.
Halfway tempting.
Super stealth right there. No one's gonna know that it's us in our.
They're very
armored,
ninja. It's very ninja.
Geez, yeah, I know. Like, and their car, all their stuff. It is not subtle at all, guys. But
I had the turtle van. Yep. Man, I had a lot of turtle toys, and then I moved on to Power Rangers after that. But
that's cool though. That you had you had your thing.
Yeah. As a youth, I think I only had the only Star Trek toys I ever got were the phaser and those the really tall figures from First Contact. That was like the only. Okay. But anyway, sorry to interrupt your flow.
No, it's all right. Yeah. No, for me it was the Playmates toys. Those 5 points of articulation. No, I had a little more than that. But
just like Will Riker, they do not sit down very well.
Yeah. Sitting down was we needed the tauntaun where you shove the figure into it and it looks like it's writing it. But what I wanted us to kind of speculate is, okay, Playmates is back. They're making new toys. What toys do we want to see from the current batch of Trek? So we're talking Lower Decks, we're talking Prodigy, Discovery, Picard, Strange New Worlds. We got a lot of choices. I was joking before recording. This could be the first time we see the warp core of the Discovery. It is in Playmates form before we even see it on screen, and then they have to match it. But I don't know this. It couldn't have been Playmates, but who else made stuff during the 90s? So maybe it was. But the miniature, I was never interested in them. But the miniature spaceship or starships that are like about the size, bigger than your hand, but you would unfold them. And then they Micro Machines.
Was that Micro Machine? Okay.
Yeah, they were like Micro Machine play. I think I have the Stargazer play set, but it was I think it was Micro Machines. But yeah, I know what you mean. You had little teeny people, kind of like a Polly Pocket kind of thing.
Yeah. They were actually really. I mean, I'm trying to remember. I might be. No, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, the people.
Yeah, the people were Polly Pocket size, but yeah, the figures were holding up. It's like a
joking
centimeter.
Hazard.
One of your European centimeters.
What was the boy version of Polly Pocket? Because there was one.
There's Mighty Max.
Mighty Max. Okay, thank you. Oh my goodness, I was right on my brain. I'm like, oh man.
No, I was just thinking of the Discovery version. But I think like there has to be some sort of
the cells keep falling off.
There has to be some sort of mount where like it holds and then you can press the button and it just spins around.
Like a
you keep like
black alert,
or it has one of those where you put in the toothed track and then you pull it and it goes yeah. Okay, so I think let's just start there. So we have the Polly Pocket Mighty Max version of some of the main ships. You have so you open up. I think that would work well because you open up and you have the really large like bridge.
Just the whole thing.
Well, I would think it would work best for Prodigy because that ship is mostly bridge anyways. And it's a smaller ship. So it's like the scale. It doesn't break the scale. You know what I mean? Because if you did it with Discovery, you're going to run into the problem where there's all this negative space. There's emptiness. So you can't like put things in there. You know what I mean? You could lift up the little tiny bridge top. And only one person could sit in there.
Well, but though that was the thing with these sets, though, is like the entire, for the Stargazer one I have, the entire saucer opens up and that's the bridge playset. Like it's not to scale.
Right. No, I get that. But at least it's closer to scale. But you couldn't do that with Discovery because there's holes.
It's a flat.
Yeah, that's true. We need chunkier ships to fit
I could
our
see
toys.
Where I know this is hard to do on an audio medium, but like the meat in Discovery is the
like the secondary hull.
I was going to say I can't remember which is primary.
Or the spine, kind of.
Yeah, well, I'll say it's not the saucer. It's the actual, because you could open that up that way. I'm okay for how to describe this audio. Describe
hamburger or hot dog
vertical.
Which way?
Yeah.
or
no, that makes sense.
Or horizontal.
Horizontally,
I mean, it just opens up like an open face sandwich, basically. Like that. But it also would be cool to not a transformer, though that too. But I'm just thinking of, I don't think there's any 90s version of this, but where you could have Discovery, where you can transform it into future Discovery, or like the Discovery A.
Oh, yeah.
And then back to like 23rd century
I would
Discovery.
say the way to do it would be, because I had some of these Matchbox cars that color changed, that had a special
in the
paint
water?
on them. Yeah, you dunked in water, and like the cool water or the hot water changed the colors. So do it like that. So you dunk the whole thing, and it changes the color scheme in the registry.
And the A.
And then the A appears.
Do the nacelles fall off at that point?
Cool.
Maybe you could make like a water soluble nacelle pylons.
Oh, it makes it clear. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There
okay,
you go.
yeah.
Okay, that's way better than my idea.
That is really cool. I mean,
but-
I would. Get that.
I as a kid, I would buy that. That would be cool.
Yeah, you get this. I don't know how big. It doesn't have to be super big. It's have my XL, whatever.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Discovery.
more like
smaller, like
the
a thumb of an
non-XL.
iPhone.
Yeah, like the non-XL versions of Eagle Moss. So like maybe it's like 5 inches.
We can't
long.
say that name anymore, Darren.
I know.
It's,
R.I.P.
they existed. Yeah. Look, the starship is landing, and whatever that means. And
Don't get me started.
yeah, I know. Yeah, we're not talking about
Enterprise is landing.
that doesn't make any. That doesn't make it any better.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so yeah, no, I think Prodigy.
Because I got, and I know this is because this is 21st century, but not quite the same. Because Hot Wheels made it's over there. I'm pointing at it, but anyway, made the movie Enterprise from Hot Wheels. I mean, it's like the size of a Hot Wheel, so it's very small.
Oh, okay,
but the movie
that's right.
version,
Little
of
ones,
the,
yeah.
Kelvin verse is what I'm saying. Because I mean, obviously, I think they make the Kelvin verse as a traditional playing ship, but it's hard to find. So I mean, it was like that's how they had like the little figures for Kelvin verse, like they were really small, ridiculously stupidly small, and then like the little ship. And I was like again, not necessarily my favorite in the world, but I still would have liked to have some version of that Enterprise. So anyway, with the Discovery, like I think Hot Wheels maybe can get into the game with the new ships or the new shows.
Well, I'm thinking, so Playmates, like they had the Enterprise D, which was a fairly large, had the electronics in it, and you could push the buttons on the
Is this the battle damaged Enterprise D?
No, I made mine the battle damaged Enterprise D with some movie making, but I know what you mean. Yeah, where the pieces popped
generations,
off. Yeah. But I think that would be fun to do for the Cerritos. I think the Cerritos lends itself the most because Picard doesn't really have a ship that's like that.
Yeah,
and
Serena, but
have you not seen the new trailers for season 3?
I have.
I know
they have a new ship every single season, whereas the Cerritos is tried and true.
What is it? The Titan?
It's a Titan A.
Yeah.
Riker gets his Star Trek 1 moment. With Picard in the seat.
Welcome home.
But yeah, I think I'm picturing like the Cerritos, with the buttons on the back. Oh, there could be buttons on the back, and there's a special button on the underside where the lower deck is, and if you push that, like Boimler talks and says like disparaging things about his job.
I love that concept because in most 90% of the ships that are in Star Trek, the toy ships, what I'm talking about, that make noisies and blinky lightsies. But all the buttons are on the spine of the saucer.
Right. There's no spine.
But I would love the lower decks, like literally the buttons on the bottom.
Yeah. You have to flip it over.
Yeah. That's on brand.
And you could make that where, I mean, it's sturdy enough where it would rest on the nacelles. They're you maybe put a little bit of if you put a little bit of a counterweight inside the deflector pod.
Well, the batteries. That's where the batteries.
Oh yeah, that would have to be where the batteries go. So which means it would break a lot, guys, because you'd have to run wires up the nacelles, up the pylons into the saucer for the lights. More wires means more breaking, but yeah, no, I could totally see that as a Playmates toy. I think that would be great. And you could even do, like pop off whole version, where you pop off some pieces or.
Well, I'm wondering, Darren. I don't go in like regular stores in this country, so it's been a while since I've been down a traditional toy aisle, quote unquote. And I'm sure you go more often than the two of us do. I don't know, maybe Daniel does. But anyway, so like, no, what's not like little kid, but not adult, like the middle kid aisle? Like, what would that Cerritos ship look like? It's not like Playmobil, but like, what's the next age up of like what a kind of Cerritos toy would look like? It'd probably be like a nice die cast, like something that's, again, Eagle Moss is kind of right in that vein where it's more for display. It's not for swooshing, but you can swoosh it if you want to. But see, that's why I think Lower Deck should really lean into that 90s Playmates, because think about it. We're all the people that grew up on that. Those were our toys. And we're now the older Star Trek fans who is the demographic of Lower Decks. Like, it makes the most sense. I'm trying to think of like what would be the Star Trek toys that you can copy, quote unquote, but then also kind of making fun a little bit. So I'm trying to think, like, we already talked about sort of like the little ship. I forget what the actual name is. Like that.
They're called shuttlecraft
for the Cerritos. But yeah. I'm just trying to think of like going through all Star Trek toys in my head.
What I was thinking would be a good playset for Lower Decks.
What do you think is a good playset?
Warp core.
Not for Lower Decks. For Lower Decks, it's going to be Cetacean Ops. Because we already have those two officers. That's
what, yeah. You actually pour in water into the pool thing.
Yeah. And they could have color changing uniforms where you dump them in, and it changes.
Like it puts like maybe a helmet over their head or something.
And they push the button, and it makes like the chirps of the. Although that module would have to be really far from the pool, so you don't accidentally dunk it, but.
See, I'm thinking Lower Decks could. I don't think it'd be super expensive because like, I'm looking at, and I know you have it too, Darren. But for like the TNG engineering set, it's not big. Really.
No, there's like no
the size
walls.
Of a laptop.
Yeah.
So it's not huge. So I'm thinking for Lower Deck, because obviously you would start with their shuttle bay, cargo bay, wherever that work area.
See, I got a good idea for Lower Decks. I think what I would do is do one of those where you get a piece of it with every figure, and it would be their bunks. But imagine their bunks like kind of, it's like
you can replicate a larger towel,
It's like 4 pieces, like so it's like 2 walls and like 2 back pieces that fit together, but they fold. They fit flat when they're inside the packaging, and so every single person you get. So once you buy the main 4, you have 2 bunk beds worth of modules that you can connect together. If you just keep buying more figures, you could build the entire corridor.
And you know what? You could make the back of it like just with a little slot, so you could put your phone, and you would have the Starfield as they're in warp. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh yeah, that is cool. It reminds me of, which was not
comes with an app, of course. Everything's got to come with an app.
Yeah, of course.
That would be cool.
Give us all your personal information. Yeah.
But like it reminds me of Enterprise figures. I don't forget who made those because that was not Playmates at that time. Those were the larger figures. I have the Archer one, but I think that they all came with like a bridge piece, so like you could not
like a chair or a console or something.
And so because I remember like all the different figures, like blank on every character right now. Yeah. But like Lieutenant Reed, there we go, would have like a piece because there was, like the actual like the thing you bought was pretty big.
I feel of all the ships in the Berman era, I think Enterprise should have gotten a play set just like we had for the Enterprise D. I think that bridge would have worked really well in that scale. But a lot of play features.
I'm imagining the commercial, like the just like the like mid-90s, even though this was 2000s, but like the mid-90s kids commercials, like I'm going on Read Alert. I have to play with like well, I'm doing a plan on the tiny
Paul's over there, and there's like a little switch you can flip or push that makes the viewer thing pop out. just like
I'm doing a
half an inch.
short range sensor scan.
I was born in space.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that would be. And then they could even make extra pieces that you could plug in.
I'm insensato. I'm nervous about all of this.
I can speak 14 languages.
But they could have pre-made slots in the deck so that you could buy an expansion and you could plug in those like integrated lights that flickered. So it was like for the Columbia. So it's like, now you can make it the Columbia. Swap out the registry.
Well, it reminds me of, I'm going far afield, but keeping it within the toys. I don't know if you all remember, this would have been 90s, 2000s, Simpsons toy sets. Because you could buy the figures of all, obviously, all the Simpson characters, like a million of them. But they would all fit into the individual play sets. But they all had sort of their own electronic key. Or, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how it all works. But basically, all the play sets had like little thingies where you could stick any figure in and press the button.
It would read and know.
And say that character would say their thing. So that's why I'm picturing it with the Enterprise. Like it
makes you think of the Star Wars had that in the 90s with the TechCom chips that were like the base. And you had the giant reader that looked like Obi-Wan's comm, but it was like 8 times the size because it had like all the electronics and batteries in it. But you would take it and you would put it on that and you'd push the button and it would say, certain phrases. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Because that would be cute with Prodigy.
That would be perfect with Prodigy. So the same thing where you just have like a bridge with little spots, and as you put the figure down, they say things.
The diviner, all of them.
I
think Jacob Pog says his own name.
Jacob Pog would all be third person. Do you remember that, Daniel, in the 90s, the tech com chips?
For some reason, it's like I do, but I don't. It's really weird. I'm trying to figure it out because I think I probably had some or one or something.
I mean, because it was smart because you would just buy the figures and you didn't have to buy the reader. But if you didn't have the reader, they didn't make any sound. It was just
right.
What
was making me? I was also triggering my memory too of like, these are kind of a little bit out of fashion now, but a few years ago, the Disney Infinity line.
Oh yeah.
Skylanders, that sort of the amiibo stuff, like where you would just put the figure on a reader, and something would happen in the game. You could do that sort of thing with Star Trek, of course, but.
Yeah, my son, he has some of the Lego Mario sets that have like a plastic built, basically electronic toy that has a screen in it that lights up the eyes and the mouth. But what's really clever is on the front of it are like 4 dip switches that can trigger, and depending on which lower half, so you plug him into like his overalls, which is like normal, but as you can change it because he has different outfits, you could put like the fire suit on him or whatever, and then as you put on different ones, there's different tabs inside that trip different combinations of those dip switches, so it knows what set is on. And I'm like, it's very clever. I mean, that's a lot of hardware for a Star Trek toy, but yeah, maybe more of the Amiibo line or the Disney Infinity, like you said, where it's just got a coil in it that triggers when you put it on the reader. So Jacob Pog can talk to us.
And I was just thinking, because I don't know the brands. I'm sure y'all do. Maybe Daniel, you do. But like the more serious artistry ones, this is usually like comic book figures that are like detailed, like really like, intricate and detailed. I'm not saying like they're big, but if you've ever seen them in a store, like, the packaging is like this, the size of like a brick, just because it's all the plastic and everything. And they take up so much space. But I'm thinking that would be great for Picard, because since it's like a quote unquote more serious show like that, you could have like a really detailed Seven figure, a really detailed Picard figure, a really detailed Rios, and maybe his holograms. But that's the one where it's not like, I guess you call it a more collector item than a toy, but like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like they would really be, much, much more sophisticated as figures than with the other sets.
Rios makes me think of like sometimes when you get like a really nice figure and it comes with like different hands or a different head.
Yeah.
It's just got 5 different heads. And so you can just
came that way.
So you can just swap it. But it's for his 5 different holograms. So so you have to buy 5 figures, for no reason. But and with Picard, you also have all of the alternate future line. Minister
Outfits.
7 and they could all be standing on a sharpened triangular base that could also be used as a weapon.
Uniform, civilian uniform.
I'm trying to think. Even just coming out with like a line of comm badges, from all the different shows that are out right now, that would be kind of cool to see. I mean, because Lower Decks is just a simple shape, it doesn't really have much texturing to
Prodigy,
it.
the same.
Prodigy's got a little more because it's got a little bit of the classic command insignia inside of it.
None of them are the same, are they?
I don't think so. No.
Every show is a new. I mean, Discovery every year is a new badge, so it's like.
Now they have the ones that are holographic. I call them the Bajoran ones because they look kind of rounded like a Bajoran logo.
About. But like the thing, not to get into it, but like we're talking about merchandising, but that's the whole point because you would say like, oh, the reason they're doing that is so they can sell more merchandise, but they're not selling any merchandise. It's like I can't even criticize them. I mean, like.
I guess maybe it's like they have to keep their art departments employed or something. I don't know what it is.
Whereas like in the 90s, they'd be like walking like, oh, this
slightly
doesn't fit.
New. Well, I think
this doesn't fit you, Brent. Let me wander over to Deep Space Nine, see if they got a uniform that'll fit you, or like Voyager. let me see if DS9 has something that'll fit you, from season 1 or something.
Or even with Voyager, they're like, shouldn't we update their uniforms? Nope. They're stuck in the Gamma Quadrant. No changes.
Not like they were literally hand-me-downs. They're like, you're a season 4 DS9. Instead of throwing them away, we'll use them keep them for the new series. Every single person.
Yeah. So whatever. This is a tangent, but we've talked about this a little bit before, the comm badges and the uniforms and stuff. But it's like, it's getting to be too like like before New Trek, I could keep it all. Oh, look, it's and then when they would do like cute little clever things like the episode where Picard is in the Monster Maroons, but he doesn't have the
undershirt.
You're like, oh, they're showing us that was kind of in transition, so that makes sense. Like everything kind of made sense, and now it's just like I have no idea.
Or even the Future Imperfect, where the comm badges was different. I still think that's one of the best comm badges, where the backsplash is the rank in a bar. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at you, Discovery, with your teeny pips on the holo. Yeah, no, it's like, hey, Lieutenant, if you could see right here, obviously I'm a Lieutenant Commander.
Excuse me, I'm a Lieutenant Commander. Yeah. Can't you tell from the slight darkened
from
shadow?
20 feet away, I couldn't. I'm sorry, sir. I mean, it makes me think of one less thing on rank, but like it makes me think of Orville, which they have like the huge tabards on their shoulders, and it's very clear and it's very concise. And now they've had a little bit of change. Like they changed their logo. They kept the logos, but they changed them from like multicolored to like all silver. And then they changed. So little changes, but it's been very consistent.
Yeah, and I think it does. We'll get back to this, but like I mean, because the merchandising, like I don't have a problem, and no one cares what I think, right? But no, I don't have a problem with each series now because it is a la carte Trek, and it is what it is. But each series having its own thing. But not within a series. Cause looking at you, Picard, you can't change every year, Because I'd be fine with because they're all young series, except for Discovery. I mean, as far as how many seasons they have. So I can't blame Discovery, change because they've had enough seasons at this point. They're changing times. Yeah, they're going to change uniforms though. They did change it like 3 times in one season. But like Picard, like, dude, you gotta to keep the same. It's only been 2 seasons. So I was like, but again, that's if the thought is either, we want our own design because we're our own show, that makes sense. But like, even if it was a little bit like, well, it's like Doctor Who. Every Doctor has their own sonic screwdriver. I guess it means we have to sell stuff to more people, but like, if they did that with the Star Trek, I'd be like, okay, I see you, but I'd also buy it, but they aren't selling it. So like, I'm like, well, what's the point?
It's like, okay, so TNG and obviously there was no uniform changes in TOS until the movies, but in TNG and Deep Space Nine, they each had one uniform shift, which makes sense. Where TNG was kind of redesigned.
And TNG was subtle, like it was adding collars and removing the pinstripe. Like it's still, you could have the other uniforms walking around in the background and not even know it. Whereas DS9, if you saw like the old ones walking around, that would be. And DS9 also had a combat shift because eventually
they did.
Season 2
shifted.
I think season 2 it was.
Well, they had to pick it up from Generations changing.
Right.
So
So so which is fine, and then of course the gray shift, but that feels like an in-universe that was uniform. That's why Deep Space Nine changed, was because the movies came out and First Contact came out, and we had this thing.
You betrayed your uniform. No.
So I don't know. It's just like, it just feels like so like. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like a uniform, because the word uniform, the uniformity is right there. Like what? It just doesn't feel that, and it's just like, oh well, let's go look at Star Trek Online, see what they did for the past, whatever, and just take from that. No, why not just make it like, okay, from this date to this date, everything we make is this now. Then I don't know, just whatever, just a pet peeve, but it's just. Anyway, sorry to derail.
No. I know what you're saying.
Well, because I guess it goes to merchandising, which again they're not doing, because this goes to, and I don't know the answer, because I know if I want a Lower Deck uniform, I'll just go on eBay. I have no idea who's making them, other than probably some illegal Chinese person who is actually very nice designed. But anyway, but I'm not supporting copyright infringement, but I'm just saying, how else would you get it? And maybe if you go on StarTrek.com right now, you can find it, but I doubt that you can find a Lower Deck uniform. You can probably find like a Lower Deck jacket, or you don't find the actual uniform top from Lower Decks, or from Prodigy, or from Discovery, or
Has Lower Decks been the most consistent with their uniforming? I assume it's just because it's easiest for animation.
Even to the extra degree. By that I mean having the other ships wearing the gray uniform. Mm-hmm. So it's not just like Lower Decks is like, oh, this is just what everyone wears. It's like,
no, it's like, this is what a Cali ship wears. Yeah. No,
so
you're right.
That's 3 seasons of one uniform. We haven't seen that since Deep Space Nine.
And I would say the changes that Lower Decks has made have always been positive. Like, I'm really happy that they fixed the dang running lights. Actually there was a YouTube video someone made that showed all 3 season intros side by side, and that was actually really cool to watch, because one, I did not realize how much they toned down the window lights in that opening. Like, it looks cartoony in season 1 by comparison. It looks way more subtle. I know it's a cartoon. Jeez.
But this is serious stuff, dude.
It's a cartoon.
Serious Star Trek.
But and then just little adjustments that they made. And then most notably in the 3rd season is you get the running lights running. It's where it's green on one side and red on the other side, not red, green. This doesn't matter. We don't care.
Because like with Lower Decks, and I'm trying to do every show in my head at one time, which is hard because there are so many shows, which is a good thing. But we haven't even talked Strange New Worlds yet. But Lower Decks is almost Simpsons-esque with the amount of characters you could be putting out. Because like with Playmates, it was sort of like, oh, it's the LaForge is an alien figure. Is all that's left here in the store. It's like 20 of those. But like, I think with Lower Decks, they're building up a pretty decent, secondary, tertiary character where it's not just a one-off necessarily. I mean, some of them are one-off, but like,
do you think they might be not pushing that
Stevens,
as much because of the adultedness of the show?
I mean,
granted, this is from the people who make RoboCop toys, so it's like, I don't know.
That's a good point. That was kind of my question too, is like, because we don't take these as seriously, like Lower Decks specifically, we don't take Lower Decks as seriously as we do the live action stuff. Like, what would you want to see action figures of? Oh,
I totally
of Ransom and
100%.
If they came out with a line of pretty much the same articulation as if they just look just like the Playmates toys from the 90s, but they were lower decks, I would buy them in a heartbeat. Now, granted, they'd have to look a little different because the animation style.
They're going to be thicker,
and more cartoony proportion.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask too. Is like you said, Darren, like the lower decks is built for Star Trek fans, and Star Trek fans like us we're older now. So are they missing out on like a nostalgia
they're totally missing out.
Where they could literally so
we have money now. Star Trek, we have money.
Target has just released classic figures of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that comes in the same packaging, the same sort of, and they look the same, and they're all, but they're now, and you could do the same sort of thing, style it in the same exact type of packaging as, like you said, the Playmates figures or whatever. But put the lower decks characters in there. That would be really fun, I think. We would probably, people like us would probably eat it all up.
Well, and again, I would love to. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a business person, but I would love to just pick the head of the Star Trek, whoever's in charge of this. Because, for instance, this initial Playmates run, which I know is a license, it's not the Star Trek people. It's Playmates getting a license. But I don't know how. So, let me talk to Playmates then. How did they decide on their initial run? Because it's a lot of Star Trek 2. As well as but that's what I've seen the most of online, which doesn't necessarily mean that's what out there, but just what I've seen online the most is Khan, and then
and it's hard
they
because
did TNG and they did other stuff, but that's the most I've seen.
There's like a balance you have to strike between quality and price point, because again, we were happy with the Playmates figures, but I think coming out with that is like, this is what you're getting. There are other toy lines where they look really good. Like they blow the Playmates toys out of the water because technology's progressed. And now we have super accurate face sculpts and things like that. And so maybe that's why I think, leaning more into lower decks, because it's all animated anyway. You could make it look, exactly like that.
Because even the initial Playmates issue, if I can use that word, for Discovery, it has, I'm going to forget names, Michael and
Saru,
but they're old Michael and Saru. They're season 1 Michael and Saru, which I don't get at all. Again, I don't know if it's like backwards, we made these plans 4 years ago. I'm like, and they're just coming
maybe out. I don't know,
which just seems. I get it, COVID, so maybe that was a thing, production line, all that stuff. But they just seem so, I just don't get it. Like I said, this is the frustration. Again, not every series is necessarily my favorite, but that being said, Discovery, we all know, not my favorite. I have a Discovery right here, because there's ships that are cool. There's characters that are cool. There's, if they had play sets, if they had different props, if they had the phasers, the communicators, the tricorders, I would buy things even though they're not necessarily my favorite show. And of course, some of them I really do like. I just don't get why they're leaving so much money on the table.
But that's hard too, though, because there's the question. It's always a gamble, though. Will this sell? Or are we going to put out this whole line, and then people are like, we're kind of over Discovery, and then nobody buys any of it? That could happen.
Well, that's why I would invest. Personally, I would not invest in Discovery. But that said,
well,
look, they've obviously
let's look at Eagle
in
Moss. Eagle Moss has been the most consistent Star Trek toy, quote unquote. Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, they made, they found this model and they tried to make it work, and it,
tried selling it.
Yeah, selling it. But but Eagle Moss has been, I would say, the most consistent in what they're giving us.
That's like a hyper specific thing, though, right? They did ship models.
These ships,
and
that's true.
It's very clear not cheap ship models, and it's very clear that new Star Trek is not really super concerned about that at all. I don't feel like any of the shows
about the artistry.
I joked about before, we see the Titan A in the trailer for season 3 of Star Trek, and they try to rise emotions out of us from a ship that we've never seen or care about. I don't know why this is a thing, but when it said, they're missing the point. They're missing why we care about the Enterprise from all the other old shows.
Yeah, I mean, we all cared about the new Stargazer more than we care about the Titan A at this point.
Yeah, they don't get it. I think it completely misses them, like why we cared about the ships and stuff that we cared about. But anyways, it doesn't matter. It's just Star Trek itself has never been a big merchandise thing. It's just never been huge. It's like there in the 90s we're talking about Playmates and all this stuff that was probably at its peak, but it's not like Star Wars. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not kind of designed in that way.
Star Trek is not and doesn't have the broad commercial appeal. That's where I'm saying, like, yeah, I mean, someone could sign a check on the dotted line and Playmate starts cranking out like every single figure from Lower Decks. That doesn't mean they're going to sell. That doesn't mean that they're going to get a return on their investment at all.
I mean, I think, again, I don't know. This is all out of my whatever. I have no facts or statistics or figures. But in other words, I mean, you go to any con, it doesn't even have to be Star Trek specific, but I mean, that's stuff's going to sell at a con. Now, whether it sells in the toy aisle of your Target, your Walmart, whatever you got, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But like, I mean, with Strange New Worlds, and again, I don't know how quick turnaround is. I mean, I know it's not quick for production, presumably, of making toys. But like Strange New Worlds, they got to know by now that's their winner. I mean, if you're going to pick one, I mean, I don't know. I would also pick Prodigy just because from the kids' angle. But if you had to pick only one series in the 21st century, you're probably going to put your big pile of chips on Strange New Worlds for the moment. And so, like, what are they cranking out for that?
Nothing.
I mean, the series will be over by the time they start pushing it. Yeah, because and again, I'm trying to remember. Even in the 90s, I mean, that came out pretty quick. I mean, it came out in 87. But there's also, and they had the Gloob was the first figures.
Yeah, that's right, the Gloob.
But I mean, by like season 3 or 4, they were cranking out.
There's just less Star Trek. I mean, I know we have a million shows, but like each season is like 10 episodes. Like this is not we're talking about season 3 of Next Gen. We had 25. That's like 70 episodes of content out by then. That's going to take 7 years to get to for any of these one shows at the current pace.
It's a really good point, Darren. And I'm like thinking about it too. It's like the culture is very different. Like
it's very different.
The world is different. The whole world, in 1990, there was 20 channels that you could watch. So you had at least that much percentage of the viewership. So
I mean, cable did exist in 1990.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know. We're talking early 90s.
Look who had cable at their home.
I didn't have cable. I'm just saying it existed.
1987 cable, Darren? Come on, no way.
You have 2 TVs too? Were you one of those houses?
What's a rerun?
But even then, so like, but at the time, culture was like more compact, like. Everybody was watching the same stuff. So it was probably a pretty safe bet that Star Trek was a huge hit. I mean, it was massive in the ratings. So yeah, no, that's easy. But now it's like, of course, anybody has a 3D printer and can build their own whatever they want. So it's like, in my view, I think they should provide these things, but just do it at like a scale, a very small scale. Just say, oh, here we're,
and I think that's what they're doing. I mean, looking at, like we were just talking about the latest release of Playmates, it's like 4 figures, but that's at scale. That's we're putting it out. We're going to see how that sells. Everything is going to see how that sells. Or I don't know. Maybe they need to go more like the HasLab route, like which they kind of are. Like so, meaning like the crowdfunding and the pre-funding and the checking. So. Like HasLab just came out with their Star Trek phaser set, which is the Type 3 phaser assault rifle from like First Contact and a hand phaser, and they're Nerf, and they shoot, and the phaser rifle's all Borgified, which everybody hates.
I'm not gonna lie. My big thing, even as a kid, I say a kid, I think a teenager, growing up, when Star Trek stuff would come out, like I always. My thing, it's going to sound like some radical thing, but I always wanted to look like the thing. I'm always like, this doesn't look like the thing. I'm not going to get that. Like the big communicator, it was like the size of a brick. I'm like, that doesn't look like that. I'm not interested. But the Nerf phaser rifle and phaser, like, I would be tempted. It's because it doesn't look like it really, but like it's kind of cool. Because even the little phaser,
the hand phaser looks cool. Exact. Yeah, the hand phaser and the fact that it shoots.
I know, because I saw the little phaser. I'm like, well, that's stupid. And then I saw how you're loading it. I'm like, oh, no, that's cool. I want the.
Yeah, if I were to get it, I would probably modify the phaser rifle to like I'd grind off all the Borg stuff and Bondo it and repaint it so it looked. Because I don't want any of that stuff on. I know why they did it to make it look less gun-like.
Yeah,
but all that to say
Orange,
is that stuff
white,
is in their HasLab program, which I think makes sense because it's not a slam dunk if anyone's going to buy this. Versus making
how much does it cost? Like 100? Yeah.
It's over 100. Yeah.
Yeah. So and it's definitely niche. Which I get it. I mean, I say I get it. Again, I'm just talking about whatever. But I assume the market is not necessarily children; it's collectors, and collectors will pay, as I have paid in this room. I'm probably worth more than my life in this room. So
Yeah, but the model is different too, right? Like then in the 90s or whatever, you'd have to make enough toys to be in Toys R Us's and JCPenney's, and like you would like you'd push them all to all the stores and hope that people went and bought them. Mm-hmm. But if you like only made them, it's not like that anymore. If you say, okay, we'll manufacture 10,000 of these or whatever, and they're all individually numbered, well then all of a sudden this is an easy sell for people who are like us. If you're making something that we're interested in, we're like, oh okay, well it's like a replica. Com badge or, the season 1 TNG phaser, the Hoover thing. Like, yeah, we would all get all over that sort of stuff. So
it took a while to get that. Yes. Anyway. Yeah. Because this gets into the economics, which I don't know anything about. But like, outside of Walmart and Target, I mean, there aren't toy stores really. I mean, there's no KB's, there's no Toys R Us, that doesn't exist. They all
right. That's the thing. Amazon. It's like. And there's also quality. It's like, it's not. I'm not saying toys in the past were low quality, but
it just depends.
People who are being more choosy with their dollars, like you can't just crank something out and expect everybody to buy it.
For instance, the Kelvinverse figures. I don't know if you've seen them or if you're familiar with them. They were terrible in my opinion. I mean, they were almost smaller than a G.I. Joe.
They were very small, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just like, no, this is ridiculous. And again, not my favorite, but I mean, if it was quality, I would have been like, oh, yeah, why not? Why not get a whatever.
Also, I was wrong. It's not a HasLab purchase. It's a pre-order with Nerf, so it's not.
So
it's
really
not like
see how this does.
Well, I'd say that's actually a step closer. Whereas the HasLab is like, this won't get made if it's not funded, whereas a pre-order is like, we are making this, but we need to gauge how much we need to make this with a pre-order.
Yeah, and there's like using the Playmates examples of figures and playsets, and there's probably stuff I'm not thinking of that they could do new and now, and I don't know. And again, what's the market? Is it a toy, literal or figurative toy aisle, or is it collectors? Which is maybe the same thing nowadays for all I know. You walk down a toy aisle, you're more likely to see a 40-year-old man like me than you are a little kid. And so I don't know. But I really just don't understand. Again, I'm not asking for Star Wars, but I'm asking for something.
Would you buy $100 high quality Cerritos?
I mean, that's what Eagle Moss is doing. I mean,
right.
It's not like a toy makes noise. I mean, and unfortunately, I probably was. I forget how much it was because they made the Cerritos before they closed down. If you'd ordered it,
the XL,
yeah, which I was hoping to get or was eventually, but like then they closed. And I'm like, because I got the Titan or the lower decks version of the Titan, which is pretty awesome in my opinion. But I would have loved the Cerritos better. So yeah, I mean, but yeah,
so it's showing up on Sideshow. It was $85 for the Cerritos XL.
Not bad. because it's. I mean, again, I'm not getting any money by endorsing, but like the XL Titan is, and I know I've said this before, is like the biggest ship of all the Eagle Moss. I mean, it's like it's a murder weapon, and how thick and cool it is.
Yeah, I got the XL Reliant, and I love it. It's
like, you know, and it looks really cool, too. So you can zoom all you want with it.
Zoom.
So I mean, like my Discovery that I got from Eagle Moss is, but it's Discovery. But I mean, I'm almost afraid to pick it up. It's all thin and nacelles can come off.
Imagine if the nacelles were just attached.
Doesn't come off. I mean, I'm sure I could break it if I wanted to, but I mean, it's pretty hard. You can just drop this. It's not going to break.
All right. Well, we've been around the circle. We've been through Playmates and Eagle Moss and Nerf and Galoob, everything and everything. But Philip, if someone wanted to talk to you about your unicorn playset, where would they find you?
I'm happy to talk about Triple Fiction Productions. Again, not that I'm getting any money, but they do 3D printed playsets. So like I have a transporter room, TNG. It's not the one that Playmates sold. It's like a realistic looking TNG transporter room that I have, as well as a bunch of other stuff. But I can take pictures and send them to you. You can see how they work with your existing Playmates figures at NC Public Servant.
And Daniel, if someone wanted to find out how they could 3D replicate your head for the podcasters special action figures, where would they find you?
They should, because I would be the best head to reproduce. They can find me on Twitter at @OneUpDan. That's the number one, not the word.
And if someone wanted to talk to me about finding the buried Eagle Moss sets out in the desert, and where to look, they can go to drsci-fi.com, DRSCIFI.
What are they, E.T. the game?
Yeah, I know. That's just what I was thinking. Well, I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
Stranded here, talking about the past on City Alpha 3.